Thank you for joining us on this Thursday. I'm Jurnee Taylor, and here are the top stories we're following for you now at noon. Pine Bluff is continuing its push against violence as the city's number of homicides surpassed last year's. More on how they're working to make changes coming up. With a number of new vape shops opening, more residents and business owners begin to voice their opposition. Coming up, new restrictions to future shops in North Little Rock. And many students want to attend a big university, but sometimes can't afford the bill. One university is setting out to provide higher education at a lower cost. But of course, we have meteorologist Scott Covert here in for meteorologist Nathan Scott. And it is Thursday Eve or Friday Junior.
Friday Junior, Friday Eve, whatever you call it, the weekend is in sight. Now, Jurnee, as we head into the weekend, I wish I had better news, but I don't. It's warm this afternoon, and it'll actually end up being warmer going into the weekend. Here's where we're at the noon hour, getting really close to 90 degrees in Little Rock. We're currently sitting just a degree shy of that 90-degree mark. We're at 88 in Pine Bluff and Russellville, 85 currently in Searcy and Hot Springs. The forecast for today, unfortunately, calls for a pretty hot afternoon. Guess where we're headed? I'll tell you, 95 degrees. Today's high temperature, unusually warm for this time of year. Now, yes, it's going to be hot. Can't do anything about that. The good news for us, our humidity levels aren't all that bad. That low humidity will make that hot 95 degrees feel a little bit more tolerable. Unfortunately, our 7-day forecast has several more hot days on tap. Meanwhile, we're not expecting much in the way of rainfall. Our fire danger is going to increase. The drought has gotten worse. I've got brand new information for you with regard to that here coming up in about 12 minutes. And we'll also take a look for a cold front, see if we can't find any relief in the near term. All those details and more coming right up.
All right, Scott, thank you. Well, we begin with a developing story. A strong fire destroyed a North Little Rock building that previously served as a nightclub. North Little Rock Fire Department responded to the Dragon nightclub at 609 East Washington around 10:30 last night. Although the club had previously been closed, the Dragon Lounge was open and operating. Officers report 6 people were inside the building when the fire started, but everyone made it out safely without injuries. The building was established in the 1920s, making it a historic building. However, the building is reported as a total loss due to part of the structure collapsing. In Conway, the county sheriff's office made a major drug bust on Interstate 40. Authorities say Deputy Kevin Moore seized around 100 pounds of marijuana with the help of K-9 Deputy Dalgo. Deputy Moore conducted a traffic stop on a white BMW traveling on eastbound I-40. Moore says he developed reasonable suspicion the driver was involved in criminal activity, leading to a probable cause search, which was sniffed out by K-9 Dalgo. Now, the sheriff's office estimated the drugs to have a street value of about $300,000. And the search continues for a man wanted in Monday's double shooting in Pine Bluff. Police say Matthew Ferry should be considered armed and dangerous. He was last seen driving this dark red Dodge Charger with an Arkansas plate AMY 36S. Investigators believe he shot and killed a woman at a home on Griderfield Ladd Road. Another victim who was also shot remains in the hospital. Today in Pine Bluff, another push to stop violence is underway as leaders come together. Group Violence Intervention, or GVI, teamed up with the Arkansas Martin Luther King Jr. Commission, hosting a number of nonviolence youth summits. The city has surpassed last year's total number for homicides of 21, with this year's number being 22.
It's not the court's responsibility, it's not law enforcement, it's not the mayor's, it's all of us together saying that we want Pine Bluff to be a safe city.
Because they are our tomorrow, they're our today. And time goes by so fast that if by attacking it as in the young age, then it gives them a foundation.
The summit starts this morning at Pine Bluff High and Moorhead Middle, and it will continue tomorrow and Saturday. The city of Bryant will replace its mayor who recently resigned. Former Mayor Alan Scott stepped down last week. Now the city council will select an interim at tonight's council meeting. At the meeting, there will be a sign-up sheet for closed-door interviews immediately following. The public will be able to vote on a permanent replacement in March. While the city is without a mayor, documents that need his signature are being pushed to other council members. In North Little Rock, many are pushing for stricter rules on vape shops. This comes as a response to a new shop opening earlier this month in the Park Hill neighborhood. Monday, the city put restrictions on new shops coming to town, banning them from residential areas and 1,500 feet from schools and places of worship.
This new regulation covers e-cigarettes, tobacco, cigars, whatever. It covers the whole gambit. So anybody else coming up there, it's not going to be allowed.
Because vape and tobacco shops are classified differently, Hardwick says the original tobacco restrictions from a decade ago won't apply to vape shops already open. North Little Rock also putting new restrictions on short-term rentals in the city. Each short-term rental property, no matter the owner, will have to be 1,500 feet away from one another. Mayor Terry Hardwick says it's to make sure there is always space downtown for locals to live, not just rent out. Earlier this year, state lawmakers considered but ultimately killed a bill that would have banned these type of local restrictions. And in a THV 11 update, a local group is again trying to get an initiative on the ballot so you, the voter, can decide if the so-called period tax should be done away with in Arkansas. The ballot title was already rejected this week, but now the group is adding another item to that list, diapers. Ashley Godwin spoke with supporters about the change.
Tuesday, the Attorney General rejected the ballot title for the first initiative sponsored by Attorney David Couch and the Arkansas Period Poverty Project. Now they are trying again with more people in mind.
And I thought that this was just something that would be a really good issue to bring public awareness to it.
This new ballot initiative hopes to ask voters whether or not they want to have a sales tax on feminine hygiene products, but they also included something else.
And wanted to know about the possibility of adding diapers to it.
Diapers for children and adults. In a statement from Arkansas Period Poverty Project, they said they took a poll with supporters to see if diapers would be beneficial to add. They found 72% wanted them included in the ballot initiative.
Diapers are so expensive. So if you're, having to pay a working mom and you having to pay for daycare and you having to pay for diapers, I mean, if you can save a couple of dollars a day on diapers, then, that goes to help with a healthy breakfast.
But in the terms of just the overall state budget, no, it's not close to 1%.
The state estimates that the sales tax on feminine hygiene products generates more than $2 million in revenue. That's less than 1% of the budget.
To me, that's just more money in the pocket of working families in Arkansas.
The Attorney General has 10 days to review the ballot title and make a decision. Attorney Couch says if it's approved, they will move on to collecting signatures for the petition. For Wake Up Central, I'm Ashley Godwin.
Well, the first impeachment inquiry hearing into President Biden is underway on Capitol Hill today. House Republicans are looking into whether the president abused his federal office to enrich his family. House Democrats call the inquiry a sham. Skylar Henry reports from the Capitol Hill.
Joe Biden abused his public office.
The head of the Republican-led House Oversight Committee accused President Biden of corruption and abuse of public office as it launched its first impeachment inquiry hearing.
The House Oversight Committee has uncovered how the Bidens and their associates created over 20 shell companies, most of which were created when Joe Biden was vice president, and raked in over $20 million. Now, what were the Bidens selling to make all this money? Joe Biden himself.
The alleged misconduct centers around the president's son, Hunter Biden, and his overseas business dealings. GOP-led committees have been investigating the president and his son for months. So far, no evidence has been produced to show the president broke the law or benefited financially. Democrats slammed the hearing as a sham.
If the Republicans had a smoking gun or even a dripping water pistol, they would be presenting it today, but they've got nothing on Joe Biden.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy originally said he wouldn't launch an impeachment inquiry unless he had the votes for it, but he reversed course after mounting pressure from hardline conservatives.
An impeachment inquiry is simply empowering the House to a greater level to get the documents they need to answer questions.
The committee pointed out this is only the inquiry stage to determine if there is sufficient grounds for the full House to consider impeachment. The White House has called the hearing a baseless stunt. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
A new program from Arkansas State University will provide free tuition for most in-state families. It's called A-State Promise Plus. Students with an annual household income of $70,000 or less will be eligible. That's $17,000 above the median in Arkansas. The Plus program will cover tuition costs after any other federal or state grants are distributed. It'll also provide a financial support for housing for students who live on campus. Well, sniffing out garden gold, how this four-legged friend helps find a special fungus. More about it after the break.
Beautiful day across Arkansas. Looking off towards the west there, mostly clear skies. Looks like there are a few puffy clouds trying to develop there in West Little Rock. A beautiful day, but sure is getting warm, and it's only gonna get hotter heading into the weekend. That forecast coming up after the break.